What's up, guys? I'm here to explain the animal report essay. Now, don't get too nervous or worried. It's not too bad. Let me explain what I'm looking for, and then I'll show you my sample how I did it. Okay. So, what you want to do first is make a title with your animal name. The paragraph one's basically your introduction, so you just want to have a hook. I recommend just using a fun fact from your research to hook your reader. And then you want a topic sentence. So remember, we're trying to inform our reader that this animal needs to be protected. So then we get into paragraph two. You'll just talk about stuff from your graphic organizer. So you'll just basically be going through these boxes. And so the first paragraph, you'll talk about what they look like and where they live. The second paragraph is, the third paragraph, is about how does it protect itself. So you'll see here, that's just basically this box. In paragraph four, you're just going to talk about why is it on the list and how can we help it. And then finally, that should be paragraph five, I guess. Sorry. Change that. Should be your conclusion. All right. So you're not using any new research. It's all stuff that you've already done. And you're just putting it now, instead of into slides, you're just putting it into a paper. All right. And we're going to try to make some cool little animals that you're actually going to put your paper into. So I'll talk about that later. But anyways, let me show you how I did it so that you can see kind of how this will work. All right. So here's my essay. This is, I did mine. I decided to do it on polar bears. All right. And it looks like a lot, but it's really not. Please just do not get overwhelmed. All right. So I filled out my graphic organizer first, which you guys have already done. Okay. And I did mine on these polar bears. I use the same sites that I gave you. And so I have my facts here. So when I go to paragraph one, this is my hook and my topic sentence. That's all I did here. All right. So what I did is I said, what is the world's largest land predator? All right. So if you see this one right here, what is the world's largest land predator? I simply got that from my fun facts here at the bottom. Okay. They don't hibernate, and they're the world's largest land predators. Now I thought, if I asked the question, what bear doesn't hibernate? That could work as a hook, but I just felt like, what is the world's largest land predator? That just seems more like engaging to me. So I picked that. All right. So, and then I said, well, if you guessed the polar bear, you are correct. Then here's my topic sentence, guys. And you guys can use the same thing. I don't care if we all use the same topic sentence. That's fine with me, because that's what all of our papers are basically about, the same thing. So what I would do here is say that whatever your animal is, but mine's polar bear. So I said polar bears are fascinating animals that need to be protected and preserved for years to come. All right. So you can do the same thing for yours. So paragraph one is really only 2 sentences. Mine's 3, but you just have a hook and a topic sentence. All right. Now paragraph 2. This is the paragraph, like I said, where you're talking about what does your animal look like, okay, this box, and what is your animal's habitat, this box, right? So I'm going to use these facts that I've already gotten, and I'm going to put them into my first body paragraph, all right? So I start off with polar bears are quite intimidating to look at. They are huge. They can weigh between 800 to 1,300 pounds. So notice this is all information from my first box. I'm just going to do what do they look like first. So then I'll talk about how they're 6 to 9 feet long, have white fur, and then I'm going to get into the habitat where they live in the Arctic and these temperatures in the Arctic. All right. They can weigh between 800 to 1,300 pounds. In addition, so notice I'm using transitions still. I'm not forgetting about things I learned earlier in the year. Polar bears are between 6 to 9 feet long. They have white fur, sharp teeth, and large paws. So at this point, guys, I've just finished talking about what my animal looks like. Now I'm going to talk about the habitat. All right. So I'm going to use this information here. Polar bears live on the Arctic sea ice where it is very cold. It has strong winds and temperatures can get into the negatives. Fascinatingly, so I used a kind of a more advanced transition here. I know some of you guys can do that. Sometimes winter nights in the Arctic can last for months. So once again, this information is all just coming from what I've already done. If you look here in my box, cold winds, winter night can last for months. So I'm just putting these facts into a nice flowing paragraph, right? That's the goal. All right, the next paragraph here, in order to survive the Arctic habitat. So this is my how does your animal protect itself and survive paragraph, all right? So if you look at the guidelines here, paragraph 3, protecting itself. How does your animal protect itself and hunt? If it hunts. If it doesn't hunt, then you won't put that, obviously. So in order to survive, polar bears have a thick layer of body fat and water-repellent coats that keep them warm. Notice, once again, this is all from my box here. I'm not doing any new information. I already know all this stuff. I'm just putting it into a paragraph, all right? Additionally, another transition. Their paws have webbing on them that help them swim and hunt for seals, as well as bumps and hairs to help them walk on ice. Furthermore, so another transition, polar bears have strong noses that can smell seals from far away to help them hunt. Okay, so basically I just went in and I hit all of these facts and just put them into a paragraph. Maybe 3-4 sentences. Some of you guys can kind of condense it probably into 3, maybe even 2, but you don't want to be too brief. You still want it to sound nice and provide enough information. All right, so we're on to now one of our last paragraphs on why is it on the endangered list and what can people do to help your animal. So I'm using now these 2 boxes, endangered list and what we can do to help. They kind of go together, so it makes sense to have them in just one paragraph together, right? And we don't want this to be too long, so we're just going to make it one paragraph. So if I look at my information here on my graphic organizer, it says global warming. So basically the temperature is getting too warm, and with less ice, it's been harder for polar bears to hunt seals, all right? There's also been people doing illegal hunting, okay? So what can we do to help? Well, we can reduce our emissions. That basically means like you're not making the temperatures warmer. You're not contributing to global warming by walking or taking public transportation, recycle, and use energy-saving light bulbs. So I'm going to put those all into pretty much one sentence because I don't want to be too long, all right? So here's what I did. Global warming has made it really hard for polar bears to survive. As the temperatures have increased, there's been less Arctic sea ice. If there's not enough sea ice, then polar bears will not be able to hunt for seals, all right? So I just took this and made it into a couple of sentences, all right? So that's basically these bullets here. Sadly, so I said this transition here because it is sad, another reason that polar bears are becoming endangered is because of illegal hunting. Some ways that we can help polar bears, so that's how I would start off my sentence when I want to introduce my solutions of how we can help. I would want to say some ways that we can help, and then you'll give your ways. Is by trying to walk and take public transportation to reduce emissions, recycle, and use energy-saving lights. I also think we could try to find ways to stop illegal hunting, okay? So I quickly went through these things. I used maybe, 2 sentences? Yeah, 2 sentences, and I basically covered all of these, all right? These don't all need to be in their own sentence. You can just combine them, and if they go together, just make them one sentence. All right, the last paragraph is my conclusion. So I'm not really going to use this stuff. I used it to try to figure out my hook. My conclusion, I'm just going to say, in conclusion, polar bears are amazing animals. So you can use the same conclusion as I did. You don't really have to come up with your own. If you want to say in conclusion, if your animal, let's say, is the Arctic fox, you could say, in conclusion, Arctic foxes are amazing animals. And we could pretty much all have the same conclusion, right? We don't have to come up with our own. So I'm giving you the conclusion paragraph as a freebie, right? You don't have to do this on your own. You can just copy what I wrote. It would be tragic to see them go extinct. There are many ways that we can help, and I hope that we can find ways to make sure they never go extinct, all right? So basically, you can just kind of copy my conclusion, so don't worry about the last one. This one is basically, we're all just going to kind of have the same thing, all right? So there it is. That's the essay. That's what it'll look like. And we're going to spend the majority of time next week working on this when I come back. So don't get panicked. I think that we're all able to do this. It shouldn't be anything that we haven't done before.